To celebrate Black History Month, we are paying tribute to a Lawton legend, Adam Matthews. He became the first Black councilman on Lawton City Council in 1972, but even before that led an extraordinary life and continues to do so at 95 years old. Adam Matthews was a busy man in his younger years. He was a pilot, a soldier. He owned a pawn shop and an electronics store you may remember that went by the name of Matthews TV. But he was also the first Black man to be elected to Lawton City Council. He served 2 terms as an at-large council member from 1972 to 1976.
And there was all these guys standing in the hall with a big grin on their face. And I said, what's going on? They said, they appointed you as councilman at large. And so that's how it got started.
Matthews wanted to improve the city of Lawton through a new downtown, better streets, more industry, increased law enforcement, and better facilities for teenagers and the elderly.
Because it needed to be done. Those things needed to be done.
While he built his platform around those 5 initiatives, he recalls one of his most memorable successes, Mobile Meals, a program to support the elderly.
They couldn't go to the grocery store to get food for themselves. And a lot of them couldn't fix food for themselves. And some of them were in, they'd be in wheelchairs.
In 1975, he became Mayor Pro Tem, filling in for Mayor Wayne Gilley when called upon. A year later, in 1976, he didn't seek re-election and retired from City Council. And now, in 2023, he sees how much the City of Lawton has changed, and Matthews says the current council is just doing the best they can.
You can't be on the outside telling people that's in the mix of it. I used to have a friend that says, you can stand outside of a tornado and speculate all you want to about what's going inside there. But you won't know unless you're inside that bad boy,
Matthews' time on the dais is just a sliver of his contributions to society. He served in the military from 1945 to 1966, experiencing racial injustice during his early years as a soldier after moving to Lawton in 1947. African American soldiers had to serve in segregated units, excluded from the white-only facilities.
Yeah, it was kind of a tough deal back then. It was talking about culture shock. It was culture shock.
But then, in 1948, President Harry Truman signed an executive order abolishing racial discrimination in the U.S. military. Despite the culture shock when he first arrived to Lawton, Matthews saw the progress being made in the community. He and his wife, Mymie, chose to stay to raise their 6 children. Matthews says he knew they'd stay out of trouble, but he would also be able to protect them from the discrimination he faced as a kid.
I wanted my kids to not go through, some of the things that I had to go through. That was the big thing. And that was the reason why we stayed in Lawton, because Lawton was a town that, as it was growing, by the time they got to coming around, it was growing and becoming better and better for kids to grow up in.
Matthews was also the proud owner of Matthews TV that sat at 14th and Lee Boulevard.
And I built the building in 1970.
His infatuation with electronics started at a very young age.
I started playing with electricity when I was 5 or 6 years old. I can't tell you how many times I got shocked playing with electric motors as a kid.
In addition to electronics, he was fascinated with aviation. At just 20 years old, he bought his first plane for $500 and later would become Lawton's first Black flight instructor for the FAA.
And I trained all sorts of pilots. I had privates, I had colonels, I had everybody in the ranks that while I was training, teaching people in the military.
At the age of 95, Matthews is still well-versed in flying. In fact, he has a flight simulator set up in his living room and is still licensed to teach.
Come back slightly on the wheel. We're ready to take off. Bring it back, bring it back, bring it back, right there. Not too far. Yeah, right there. Hold it right there. You're flying now.
I'm airborne.
You're airborne.
There are many lessons to be learned by Matthews, like how to fly a plane, how to love and care for others, and the importance of treating everyone like your friend.
You can do anything you want to if you just work at it and, you know, be the best you can be, and don't be mean to anyone.
Matthews was awarded a commendation from Mayor Booker to not only wish him a happy 95th birthday, but also to thank him for his contributions to the City of Lawton.
And here's the certificate they sent you for your 95th birthday.
Oh.
So that's from the mayor's office.
Oh. Did you take a picture of that?
Yes, sir, I sure will.
Isn't that nice?
Yeah, that is. It's great.
Matthews served his community well. He was also a board member of Citizens National Bank. He was a member of the Urban Renewal Board, and of course, he was on the Airport Authority. Now, his birthday was actually back in December, but it was only a few weeks ago that I was able to sit down for an interview with him. Mr. Matthews, on behalf of the entire City of Lawton, happy belated birthday, and thank you so much for all you've done for our community in the last 50 years.